Have you ever wondered if your thoughts have actual physical weight? Not just, metaphorical power, but a literal force capable of traveling through the air and reshaping reality? Well, let's jump right into today's explainer, where we're cracking open a fascinating time capsule from 1902, A. Victor Segno's book, The Law of Mentalism. We aren't looking at this as modern science, but rather as this incredibly detailed historical framework where thought was seriously proposed to be a tangible, physical force. So let's step back in time and decode exactly what Segno meant by mentalism.
Diving right into the source material, we encounter this concept of a stairway ascending straight through the clouds. It maps out mentalism as the absolute foundational step leading up to ambition, health, wealth, peace, hope, and love. The author framed this idea as the root of all human achievement. According to the text, mentalism isn't just some helpful mindset, it's the underlying cause of all happiness, success, and even life and death itself. It's a grand, all-encompassing claim, and this ascending imagery just brilliantly captures the sheer scale of Segno's ambition.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll cover the force of mentalism. Next, the mechanism of thought, followed by willpower and success. Then we'll hit character, destiny, and hereditary, move on to mind over health, and finally wrap up with cultivating the power.
Section 1. The force of mentalism, a subtle, potential force.
Here's the exact definition right from the text. Mentalism is described as a power or force so subtle and yet so potential that it acts as the source of all intelligence, governing every physical, mental, and spiritual action. Now, what is absolutely crucial to grasp here is that Segno did not view this as magic or mysticism. To him, this was hard science. He wrote that it underlies all physical and mechanical advancement. It's this invisible force, opposite to matter, yet it literally dictates everything matter does.
In fact, the source claims mentalism is the singular secret engine powering all the other popular phenomena and beliefs of that era. Segno asserts that whether folks were practicing hypnotism, relying on personal magnetism for success, attending spiritualist seances, or practicing Christian Science healing, they were all unknowingly just tapping into the law of mentalism. He argued that these different groups had essentially discovered tiny fragments of the truth and built whole religions or sciences around them, completely missing that mentalism was the one universal law beneath the whole shebang.
Section 2. The mechanism of thought, how thoughts travel.
So, how does this actually work? Well, mentalism relies on the harmonious action of a three-part machine. Step 1 is thought, defined as intelligence collected by the brain from universal mental vibrations. Step 2 is etheric energy. This is the subtle force generated in your brain simple by the act of thinking. It acts as the medium, kind of like an invisible track on which thoughts travel. And step 3 is the will. The will is the operator and director. It dispatches and guides the thoughts to their intended destinations, which stops them from just leaking out randomly into the atmosphere.
To help readers in 1902 really wrap their heads around this invisible mechanism, Segno used a brilliant historical metaphor. He compared thought transference directly to Guglielmo Marconi's then brand-new invention, wireless telegraphy. Just as a telegraph sends vibrations through the ether to a receiver tuned to the exact same pitch, the text argues that a thinking brain displaces atoms in the air, sending out actual thought waves. A strong, forceful thought displaces way more atoms over a larger area than a weak one. And these waves travel instantly through space until they hit another human brain that happens to be organically tuned to the exact same mental frequency as the sender.
Section 3. Willpower and success, mastering your destiny.
According to Segno, a powerful will dictates whether someone becomes a master of their destiny or, well, a slave. Famous and successful people, the text explains, have trained their will to send out incredibly strong thought vibrations that literally reach out and control the public mind, drawing success directly to them. On the flip side, weak-willed individuals fail because their minds are left wide open. They become slaves to the stray thoughts of others. They fluctuate between plans and never achieve permanent success, simply because they lack the force to push their own thoughts out into the world.
Section 4. Character, destiny, and heredity, shaping the inner man.
The core tenet of this section is neatly summarized in this fantastic quote right from the text. As a man thinks, so is he. The outer man is but an expression of the inner man. Segno genuinely believed that every single thought registered in the brain makes a proportionate physical change in the matter of the body. Over time, noble thoughts will physically mold your facial features to appear pleasant, while an impure life of low, material thoughts will physically manifest in your face and mannerisms. You literally become what you think about, right down to your physical appearance. And the text actually takes this a massive step further into the realm of heredity. The source boldly asserts that what we call hereditary traits are actually just the result of parental thoughts during the 9 months preceding birth. Get this, the book claims that parents, through their mental vibrations, literally attract a soul from the universe that is in perfect harmony with whatever they're thinking about. If they project noble, ambitious thoughts, they attract a noble soul. If their thoughts are cruel or selfish, they attract an evil disposition. It is a fascinating, if pretty extreme view of total parental responsibility through purely mental means.
Section 5. Mind over health. Disease as decay. According to the source, health is the normal and natural condition. Disease is an unnatural decay of the tissues. The text posits that the mind or the soul governs all physical organs. Think of your body as just a house. When the mind is happy and focused, it maintains the house perfectly. But when the mind gets distracted by worry, fear, or unhealthful thoughts, it neglects the body's repair systems. This neglect is exactly what leads to tissue decay and disease. There are no external causes in this framework. It's entirely an internal management failure by the mind. This brings us to a crucial point about the immense power of projection, which leads to a pretty stern warning in the text. Signo cautions that parents can accidentally mentalize a child into becoming sick. Because children's minds are highly receptive, a parent projecting intense, fearful thoughts of disease can inadvertently plant that instruction right into the child's mind, causing the child's body to physically manifest the illness. The proposed cure for any disease, following this logic, is to firmly command the body's functions to rebuild tissue by focusing intense, hopeful, and commanding thoughts directly onto the affected area.
Section 6. Cultivating the power. Practical steps. So how did one actually use this? Well, the practical application required strict discipline. The text recommends seeking complete solitude for 1 hour every single day. During this time, you're instructed to practice strict concentration, resting the physical body to heighten mental energy. By strengthening the memory and tuning your mental pitch, you're supposed to project your thoughts out into the ether, specifically targeting great minds. The idea was that by tuning into the frequencies of successful or brilliant people, you could unconsciously extract valuable insights and information from their thought waves to build your own success. Talk about an early life hack.
This brings us to a very unique historical artifact mentioned in the text, the Signo Success Club. A. Victor Signo wasn't just writing a book, he was building an entire network. He explains that members of his club combine their mental strength daily. The theory went that if one person's thoughts are powerful, the synchronized thoughts of thousands of club members would create a mighty force. Members would project success and health to one another, exponentially amplifying the positive vibrations for everyone linked in the network. It was basically a turn-of-the-century wireless thought network for mutual prosperity. I want to leave you with a provocative question based on everything we've unpacked today. When you look at today's modern wellness culture, the booming popularity of the law of attraction, and the endless advice about manifesting your reality, does 1902's Law of Mentalism secretly echo through it all? Signo's ideas about thought as a literal physical force that shapes our health, attracts our destiny, and links us to the minds of others are well over a century old, yet they feel incredibly familiar today. It really makes you wonder just how much our modern pursuit of success is still tuned to these vintage vibrations. Thanks for joining me on this historical explainer, and keep your thoughts focused.